There was so much divisiveness because it was the Serbs and the Albanians fighting, and there was this one.
So it's not the people who are ugly.
No,
the people are not ugly.
No,
it's the war, and it's the destruction around.
The devastation, the mass graves, the sadness, the poverty, and the ugly part was you have such poverty. When there was a mine that we went to. They said, anybody want to go on a field trip? And I'm like, my arm was up really quick because if you just want to get away from the heaviness. There was such a heaviness there that I almost felt like you could almost feel the heaviness. And I needed to breathe. So it's like, I'm ready to go. So we went to a mine, and it was the Trepča mine. This mine had a lot of gold, cobalt, crystal, and just all kinds of different things of great value and wealth. And here you see people that are dying from starvation, from the war, from all this ugly, and you have this mine that has so much, but they couldn't mine it because they were too busy fighting. It's insane. So here we go down, and I put all my little equipment on, and we're going down. It's almost like 7 football fields straight down. It had been closed up for like almost 10 years. And so one mining engineer who took us down gave us a little tour of it, and I had my gear on, and we were going 7 football feet. And I remember just walking. He says, now be careful because it's so dark and we haven't mined it, and it's pretty dangerous. And sometimes there can be a place where it'll collapse and you can fall and we'll never find you again. And I remember I'm thinking I'm right behind the mining engineer, like right behind him. And I'm thinking, I'm so confident. I have zero fear because he knows the way. And I'm right behind him. I thought, you know what, God? I want to walk this confidently with you in the dark places. And I'm walking. And as I'm walking, all of a sudden, I see, people picking up these little rocks. And they're putting them in their pocket because they have, you never know what kind of value are in there. And I was going to do that too. I'm ready to grab some, and I hear that still small voice says, drop it. I'm like, I can hear that still small voice say, that's stealing. And I'm just like, well, everybody else is
doing
rocks. Hello. Why are you picking on me?
Yeah.
Hello. And the Lord said, no. He says, that's stealing. I'm just like, but I'm never going to be in Trepča again. I'll never come back. That's how we do that. And he says, Daya. So I kept walking. And we get to the very end, and I see this big wall. And in this wall, I see this hole there, and it looks really cool and beautiful because you can see that obviously there's a lot of valuable stuff in there because they've been mining it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And I asked him, how do you know? Like, I know there's fool's gold and I know there's real gold. How do you know what's really good and what's not? And he explained the whole process. We draw it out of the mountain, we put it in these big carts, and we take it down to where the fire is, and then the fire will test up what's of value will come to the top. And I'm like, huh. I said, wow, God, that's what you do. You draw people out of the mountain, and you help them, you put them through the trials.
The pressure.
Yeah, and their real value comes up.
It's a pressure test.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. And he says to me, yes, that's what I do. He goes, and I fully equipped you. See, because I had all my equipment. He goes, see, I fully equipped you to remind others that they are not part of the mountain. See, we think we're part of the dirt, muck, and mire, but he draws us out away from that dirt, muck, and mire to remind us what value we really have. And that goes through the times of the hardship and the pressure and the trials. Mm-hmm. And then you really see the value that you really have. Mm-hmm. And that was profound to learn in Trepča. That was powerful. So after that, I'm like, wow, that's so cool. And then the mining engineer, he looks down on the ground and he picks up this rock. He goes, wow, this is a really beautiful piece. And
because he knows the value.
Yes. And he hands it to me. And I'm like, and I hear that small voice say, yes, because he's giving it to you. And then that was in the relationship that I was in with that I did not want to give up. I did not want to give up. And the Lord said, see, Delia, he knows what's valuable. And I know what's valuable for you.
In that moment, you realized
that he was talking about my relationship too.
Yeah.
He says,
and that this wasn't for you. Drop it. Mm-hmm,
drop it.
And then somebody else says, wow, this is like really good stuff. And he just puts it in your hand.
And he gave it to me. He said, if you'll let me, if you trust me.
That's the guy said?
No.
Oh.
That's still small voice.
Oh.
It's like, wow. No, he just gave it to me. He's like, here you go. I'm like, cool. Like, wow. Wow. Thank you. Wow. Yeah. Thank you.